Chevron 1, coded.
For my ally is the Force, and the powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Cry hammer, and let's set the tongues of war.
Chevron 2 is coded.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of your women.
It's all in the reflexes.
I'll also say that you're heavy into martial arts, Tai Chi and all that, killer stuff. I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Chevron 3 encoded.
And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I will.
Chevron 4 encoded.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Chevron 5 encoded.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Chevron 6 encoded.
Not for while you can, little boy.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
You shall not pass! I thought I'd die fighting side by side with Al.
What about side by side with a friend?
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Chevron 7 is locked.
Welcome, one and all. Merry Christmas. We are back with Sci-Fi Saturday Night Drive-In. That's still part of my brain. It's still in there somewhere.
Still there.
Boomering right out of the start. Final show of the year and a boomerang out of the start. Yeah. Welcome to Saturday Night Drive-In's Christmas edition, the final one of the year, our final attempt to bring some joy and goodness to your hearts in this holiday season. And, we got a good one for you guys tonight. Got to go tonight, but first we're going around the horn, say hi to the panel. Our man who chose it tonight, Jed, the Hollywood scholar. Jed, how are you tonight?
No, I'm doing great. Yes, this night can be called implicitly my fault in case you hated it, but you can also give me credit if you loved it. Great. There's how no that works out. There's no hating. Yeah.
If you hate this, you're a communist. I'm sorry.
We'll go with that. I can get behind that statement, but you guys can probably tell I really like this show, so I'm a little biased in this here argument or this here review, but God, I'm so excited that I can talk about Doctor Who for a little while and talk about some good Doctor Who. I know it's shocking.
Yeah, and as you guys can see, we are without Lady B tonight. She had to work, and her fiber was giving her some trouble this week, so she will not be joining us tonight. But we have two boobs to replace her boobs, so it's okay. I'm waiting all day for that one.
You got me there. I'll give you that.
I waited all day for that. Well, fortunately, Biggles is joining us, so I was able to make that joke. So because there's two of you, so welcome, first time on the channel, Biggles Mets. How you doing tonight, Biggles?
I'm doing well. I've been on streams all day today.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I've been running in, getting popcorn and eating on my snacks, and so.
So you're a little punch drunk at this point, huh?
Yeah, but I did watch this one again yesterday, and I never knew how to say what is Sardic's first name correctly.
Kazrin.
I've never been able to say his name correctly.
I made sure
it's a weird one.
Watching him, like, okay, I'm gonna get this right tonight. Kazrin, man, you're right. And again, pinch hitting because he's good that way for us. Dermy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
That's what I heard when you said pinch twisting.
I thought you said nipple twisting. I thought you said nipple twisting. I was like,
that's what I.
We're going straight to the boobs.
Wow.
Anyways, hi. I've also been streaming basically all day, and I'm going to be streaming again after this. So
yeah, see, I did my normal Saturday, errands routines. Came home, ate lunch. saw everybody else was streaming, decided, okay, not going to stream God of War. I'm going to take a nap, so I did.
Oh yeah,
that's why I'm fresh and rosy.
I'm going to be on 4 streams today too, just like Biggles. It's been a long day for everyone but Adam.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, it's just the news of the day is still the news of yesterday for me, and everything else going on, you guys had it covered, and we could talk about it tomorrow on Roundtable. So, I mean, it's I took the day because I got this tonight. We got this tonight.
He needs his nap. You know, he's
Here it
getting
comes.
old up there. He's getting up there in age, so he needs to break in between days.
The people born before 1950. That's when the nap.
I wish I was. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? I wish I was born in the 50s.
Me too.
The clothing, the respect,
the hairstyle. I love the hairstyle.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have done the full slick back.
No. I like the slick back. Everyone's wearing cool hats.
Clean cut. I like the clean
suits.
Cut, though. Clean cut, good. Now I wouldn't be able to do this because I can't shave. I break out in irritation when I do a clean shave. It's just my neck.
Yeah.
See the hair, it's going in all different directions, so it just breaks out. It sucks. So
I have to grow a beard too because otherwise I have a baby face as bad as Biggles.
So. Oh, I have one worse than all of you.
See, I'll do the regular electric shave off, and then I'll just have the roughness. But that's as far as I can go. Otherwise, like I said, I get irritation, so it's a pain in the ass. I've tried everything all my life. It's just because the hair is just going in like. Here it's go that way, and it just gets all effed up. But we could talk facial hair all day. We could, but we have to talk
grooming stream.
We have to.
God.
Wording. Wording.
I know
wording.
I'm very aware of the stuff I say.
Okay,
I love you guys so much.
All right, but we are here.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Biggles out. He wants no part of this now. He's on somebody's radar. Anyway. But no, we are going to have some fun here because this tonight's choice is pure joy. It's pure joy. It is to watch it. This is
no diehard fights.
No diehard fights. Hey, that was a good old fashioned nerd fight last week. Good old fashioned nerd fight.
It was nice though.
And when we were done, you got after stream, everybody was fine. Everybody was fine. We spent 2 hours dicking around backstage after that, so everything was fine.
Didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We
should have just stayed live. There was some gold there.
There was
I don't know.
Gold.
There was some cancelable gold in there.
That's true. That is a Rumble exclusive.
Yeah, there's some cancelable gold in there. But we are here to celebrate Doctor Who, and it was Doctor Who, and it just so happens to be a Christmas special chosen by our boy Jed. Jed, this is your pick. What are we looking at tonight?
We're looking at the best Christmas special, in my opinion, in a long line of incredible specials. It's kind of weird. At a certain point, no one would have associated Doctor Who and Christmas together before RTD decided that these things mesh well together and created a phenomenon that lasted for well over a decade. And it's something that's really special to me. Christmas Day, I watch all the Christmas specials back to back to back that whole night. Well, Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, I watch the traditional Christmas movies. But no, these specials are beautiful. And Christmas Carol especially is the one that is the most Christmassy of them, with the traditional story, the heartwarming story, the family values. And it just feels so nice, like a warm blanket to wrap yourself up in, especially in the Black Pill era that we live in currently. I need something like this every so often. Doctor Who is my happy place, and nothing exemplifies that and just the greatness of Doctor Who as well as A Christmas Carol does.
I remember when I was late to Matt Smith's first season. I was late. I missed his entire run. I watched it in catch up to the 50th. So when I was just barnstorming my way through his seasons, when I watched this, this episode, because I was just going down the list, and it was just no titles in that. And when I hit this, it's surprising. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? This doesn't feel like the beginning of another season. Well, technically it was the beginning of the next season when you look at it in the episode list order. And I had no idea what was going on. Then I sat back and I watched it, and I was just, this was great. And this is only the second time I've ever seen this.
Really?
The second time, yeah.
Pure magic.
This was the second. I remember I saw it the first way through. Maybe it's the third time. But no more than 3 have I ever seen this. No more than 3 times. Just because I don't do Doctor Who rewatches, or when I did, I used to. It was before these dark times, and then I stopped, and then I wouldn't do it anymore. But I also had terrestrial TV where I had BBC America where they would just show this shit over and over again. Or sometimes when Sci-Fi Channel, before it was goddamn Syfy, would actually show this stuff in proper order and proper respect. So when I first saw it, it was like, wow, that was great. And it stuck with me because I remembered all the beats pretty much today. I remembered most of it. A few things I hadn't seen, a few things I noticed. Things I noticed. I mean, Jed, I bet you saw them. I don't know how you see this, but do that. But all right, Pickles, when was the first time you saw this one?
Jed, when did you make me watch Doctor Who?
It probably would have been about January to March time frame.
So sometime in between there, 2 weeks after I started watching Doctor Who, the first time I watched this, I was like, ooh, what is this? And I was like, who's the pretty blonde? And I was distracted. I was like, why is she in a box? And like, so I watched it and I was like, oh, this is kind of like a ghost of like Christmas past and all that stuff. I was like, this feels like a Christmas story, and I had no idea that's what it was called. So I watched it, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this episode. And then the second time I watched it, I was asleep before the credits started, or like the opening credits started. So I didn't really watch it a second time. So then the third time I turned it on, which was yesterday, and watched it again. And I noticed a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't notice the first time watching it. And I was like, oh, this is a good one. But I think this is the second best Christmas episode. I think the best one is Matt Smith's Regeneration, because that was awesome.
That was pretty epic. It's not very Christmas-y, but it's a great episode as well.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. It's one of my
amazing.
favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It's like
it is
second
great. It is
favorite
great.
episode.
Yeah.
For me, number 2 would have to be Voyage of the Damned. Voyage of the Damned with David Tennant is phenomenal, especially like the alien version of Christmas where they hunt turkey people.
Derm, when did you first see this one?
Oh, when did I first? So my run-in with Doctor Who would have been 2015 or so. I got turned on to it by a friend in high school. It was short, coming up on the end of Tennant's run, beginning of Capaldi. Capaldi was already announced when I started watching fully. And I sat down and watched it all that summer into college, binged it all. And I came across this episode and I thought, man, this is a good episode. Not my favorite Christmas special, and I can't remember which one I liked before that. It was something during Tennant's era.
Some great ones.
Yeah. And then continued, and then the dark times hit.
Yes.
Came back to this episode because I was all soured on Doctor Who. Remembered how good this episode was, and I'm sitting there watching it this last night, just enjoying it. I'm on the edge of my seat, and the whole time I'm thinking, God, this is so good, and right now I really hate Jed for getting me back into Doctor Who.
I said this when Jed announced this or told me he wanted to do this a couple weeks ago, and I said, I'm going to love this, but by the end of it, I'm going to be sad. Because not only is it a bittersweet ending, it's a bittersweet ending to this, but I'm going to be sad because this isn't Doctor Who anymore. Or what Doctor Who is now, it's not this anymore. And I don't think it's going to come back, at least not to these levels of just pure joy. Because, Jed, take us through what's going on. Because this is beginning of Matt Smith's second season. He has had a whole season to fully develop his Doctor persona, and this is him at full speed in this. I think in this episode, the ups and downs, every little perfect quirk that he has developed as the Doctor at this point is on display in this. I think, and it hits you when you know what you're looking for and know what you're looking at. It hits it at all those perfect points. So, what is going on? Set the stage for us.
Well, this picks up right after the season finale, which saw Amy and Rory get married and then go off with the Doctor right after their wedding. And it's their honeymoon. It's something really simple. He's like, hey, do you want to see this really cool planet that has clouds with... I mean, he didn't know about the fish at the point, but they're in a honeymoon ship about to crash land because of some shenanigans. And this planet is very interesting. The entire planet is surrounded by these clouds that are ice clouds. And when the ship is passing through it, crashing, they're able to stabilize enough to make it slow. but it's tearing the ship apart. And a man on the surface is able to save them whenever he wants. He just physically does not care. He's not a villain. He's not like the Daleks who goes out of his way to murder indiscriminately because he likes it or he gets something from it. He just doesn't care because of how broken he is as a man. And it is the Christmas Carol, Dickens' Christmas Carol with a sci-fi twist. And so it's all about the Doctor trying to change this man's life to fix him, to not let him stay broken like he is, so that he'll care enough to save his friends on their honeymoon. And it's a tale as old as time. Dickens really exemplified the power of a story like this, and Doctor Who fit perfectly into that tone to make this special, making it all its own at the same time.
And it's filled with just fantastic lines from beginning to end. It says, one point, like you said, he won't save the 4,003 souls on board that. And at one point, when the Doctor is comically threatening him, he basically says, there are 4,003 souls up there. You don't want to get in my way. And I believe it's, you don't want to get in my way in doing this. He says, well, what does that mean? He's like, well, you're going to be 4,004. So it's like, he's the Doctor. He saves people. And even though this guy's an antagonist, his goal was not to destroy him, but to save him as well. And that's the Doctor. Do no harm. Help others. I mean,
Dude, speaking about lines, there's one from that scene as well that is my favorite from this special. It's right after he falls out of the chimney. He sees the girl, Abigail, in the ice, and he's like, "Who's this?" "Oh, that's nobody." "That's fascinating. That really is quite phenomenal." "Oh, why?" "Well, because in 900 years of time and space, I've never met somebody who wasn't important." He just like slows down and looks back to him with that glare. And he's like, "This is the Doctor. The 1,000-yard stare. The masculinity."
That's what I was talking about when we started. As I said, there are these moments where he will be spastic, crazy, attention, ADD on display, and then suddenly stop, and he'll look, and there's that 1,000-light-year stare. It's like, boom, there's the old man. There's the ancient being behind that young man's eyes, and it hits it. Oh, love it.
Well, also, when he comes right out of the chimney, he's like, "Oh, I saw a chimney, had to go through it. You know, it's Christmas and all." And like, just, it's so good. Matt Smith is so good, so charismatic.
Yes.
And that's why I think he's better than all the other Doctors. I mean, the last season of Tenet is by far Tenet's best season, if you ask me. And that's the only time I think Tenet even can compete with Matt Smith, is at that final season.
I'd have to debate you on that one, but
yeah, that's a debate for another time.
Well, that's fine. You guys will probably destroy me in any debate about Doctor Who, but I haven't even watched Capaldi yet. I've just watched Matt Smith like 3 times.
Matt Smith is freaking good, though. Like,
oh, yeah. Is the energy. I mean, all right. So we're going to talk about Matt Smith's Doctor in this episode now that we're going to spend a bunch of time on, because he of course, he's the Doctor, he's a driving force, but his energy throughout all of this episode is just every step of the way. It's, I am the excitement that he exudes as Doctor. It's like, yes, he is that ancient being, but everything is fascinating to him. And even the moments when he's caught, the whole, why won't these controls work? It's isomorphic. Go to me. You're fit. That's not true. These are isomorphic. You said to him.
It was these things. That's not true. That's not a thing. The Dig comes over, flips the switch. He tries to do it himself. Does the little screwdriver, looks at it, it's like, it's isomorphic.
It's just like, that's what it is, guys. I'm smart.
That's what it is. And it's the Doctor. And it's just like, yes, he has so much knowledgeability, but he just, what is this? I can't do this. Okay, yeah, it's a thing. Okay, yeah, play it off.
Like when he goes into the past for the first time, just immediately starts jumping on the bed. Just he's a child.
Yes, he's a child.
He's like, you see a bed, you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I love when he pulls out the psychic paper and he's like, as you can see, I'm clearly a responsible and mature adult. Just a bunch of wavy lines. Huh. Finally, I lied too big.
That's my favorite. I told you that is my favorite line of the episode. It goes, huh, short it out. Finally, I lied too big. That is my favorite line of the episode.
I love that.
Great.
Well, he said mature. Lines. That's what ruined it.
Well, that's the thing. Again, at one point, and one point when that kind of one of the reoccurring things throughout all of Doctor Who. At one point when he's talking to Amy on the phone and she's trying to tell him how bad it is, and he's saying, "Oh, I got to fix it." And he says, "Are you lying to me?" "No, I'm not." Rule number 1: the doctor always lies. The doctor always lies.
The doctor lies.
And it's just it was so good.
Is it a lie or is he more just optimistic?
No, the doctor lies.
He lies
a lot.
He does lie a lot, but he's also very optimistic and doesn't want to scare people all the time.
Matt Smith's one is definitely heavy on the optimism because there's always a way out. And so the whole, and then you gotta love when he decides to change things. I love watching. One of my favorite things about Real Who is watching the Doctor put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is lost in this current iterations with Dr. Karen. Watching the Doctor put the pieces together, and there are 2 or 3 instances in this episode where it's just you watch the wheels turning. He's like, "Come on, you're almost there. You're almost there." And then he turns around, has that look, and he's like, "Yes, he's got it. He's got a plan."
One of them was when he was on the phone with Amy.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the phone with Amy.
Christmas
he's like,
Carol.
He's like, I got it. And he's like poking the fish, like poking at the fish. And he's like, "Oh, Christmas." And then boom, done.
And you mentioned the music. The whole thing starts with Murray Gold's genius. It just opens with the theme. And normally we save music for the end of the episode. You can't, because the whole thing starts with the 11th Doctor theme. I love the 11th Doctor theme because that's a theme that brings you hope.
Yeah,
the middle part of it where the choral singing becomes, you feel the hope that is the Doctor's like the madman in the blue box. He's gonna be there. He's gonna save us. He's gonna get here in time. He's gonna get here in time. He's gonna get here in time. He's gonna do it. Please, Doctor, get here in time this time. Please get here in time for once.
For once, don't be late.
For once, don't be late. That was it. For once, don't be late. That was the line. It's like he's gonna save the day, and that's the essence. And Matt Smith, along with Tennant, provided that more than before, that feeling of he is going to save the day. He's going to restore balance. And one of the great things about the episode is, yes, he does save the day, but he's not able to quite save everything. We'll get to that towards the end, but that gives it a sense of, for lack of a better term, realism.
Yeah.
It gives it a certain sense of that. Yeah, go ahead.
We can talk about the realism, like the darker side of this episode. We talked a lot about how hopeful, joyful, Christmassy it feels. There's a lot of sadness in this episode that is quite tear-jerking. Like one of the big moments for me that may not affect the rest of you guys because you haven't seen Old Who, but when he's talking to Kazran as a teenage boy when he leaves Abigail for it's like, "We're done, no more Christmas Eves," and he's like, "How would you know?" Or like about the love. And the Doctor just kind of looks down a little bit. It's a very minor reaction.
You see it. It's just. You want to talk about loss.
He's lost his wife. He's lost his granddaughter in just the first season of Doctor Who in 1963.
And at that time, he still thinks he's lost his entire race. Because he thinks there's still
no one loses more than this one.
I know. I mean that when that happens, like my thought was, no, you don't know. You don't know what he's had to lose and what he's had to willfully lose. Like, yes, not only does he still think he's the one that pushed the button that destroyed everything in the Time War, but sometimes willingly saying, "Okay, I'm going to have to let this person sacrifice themselves."
Yep.
Because I can't always save it. That's the whole point of the end of Tennant's era, that he wasn't God.
That's a very important lesson.
And that he realized he can save people, but he can't save all the people. And that's why this episode is still poignant at the end. Because that shows you he learned his lesson.
Well, I always go back to moments like these. The line from Clara in the 50th anniversary talking about David Tennant. She goes, "He's the man who regrets." But David Tennant, he's the man who forgets. Matt Smith, he's the man who forgets. As much as he tries to forget, in those moments where the childlike veneer drops away and he's just like...
and it's always that little head turn. And again, he gives the stare where the smile melts away. And he does it a couple times in this, like you said before, like Bill was mentioned before when he turned around and says, "Yeah, I don't look at me like that." I know, or who know who's it was Jed. You said never forget a person. Yeah, just like never.
No one who's ever unimportant.
Yeah, and then but it's like it's all right there, and it goes through it, and you see, but then the humor is. I mean, I would say this is Moffat at his best with just the easy humor. I mean, let's go around. Everybody's best humor points. Dermy, I'll start with you. Your best humor point.
My favorite parts of this whole episode is the shark.
Shark.
Just the shark. It's a giant flying shark. And when it is first introduced, it's just so insane. You don't know what's going to happen, but it's being imposed as well with the present, with the future, and everything. So you know they're going to survive somehow. But just when that shark first gets introduced, it's like, oh my god, it's a shark. It's a flying freaking shark, and it's terrifying. But at the same time, I want one. Yes.
I gotta admit, when it busts through the door, during the initial beginning of the time travel portion, the teeth, really well done. The teeth and the glowing and you got the screwdriver in there. It's like
great CGI and set development.
Yeah. Oh, all right, I was going to go to Biggles Nest, but all right, Jed. So what's your favorite humor point?
It's hard for me to pick, so I'm going to do a two-parter.
Okay.
I love the joke that he makes when they're in the closet, like you're talking about. It's chomping at them, and he's like, "All right, the screwdriver's within reach, but we've only got 4 tries. 4 tries? What do you mean? 2 arms, and then it's your turn."
Yeah, I love it.
But the other one, especially with the new Marilyn Monroe movie out, is the joke that he marries Marilyn Monroe. Oh,
that's mine. That's
sorry.
mine. I
should have done a two-parter then.
I dug that one.
Marilyn,
that was
get
my
your
favorite.
Coat. That's only the 4th confirmed time that he's been married after 1,000 years.
But he said at the end it wasn't a real chapel.
Yeah,
it's a recurring joke. But according to the showrunner, it was a legal marriage. He's just in denial. So he's the only man who's ever to be able to tie that down. Because he had his original wife that he had before the show began in 1963. He had River Song, Queen Elizabeth I, and Marilyn Monroe. Those were his 4 wives.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite scene because I love it when he comes around while they're making out. It just his look is this and that. He's like
and breathe. Are you breathing out your ears?
And it's like, and then it gives there. I find Marilyn, we're gonna do it. Oh, take one for the team.
Well, I don't know how well you could see it on your TV, but it was massive on mine. Is the giant kiss mark on his cheek?
Right here.
I thought it was.
No, it's on his face. It's like right here.
It's on his face. Yeah,
right here. Yeah, no, yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, she wears a lot of lipstick.
Yeah, Biggles, what's your favorite humor point in this one?
So I'm going to kind of piggyback on his shark thing, even though it's the chimney part earlier that I already said. But what makes the shark part so funny is he comes out and he's like, "Oh, is it a big one? No, it's just a tiny fish. It's just a little one." And there's like, "It's a big one!" And he runs back into the closet. And he was like, "Oh, it's a big one," and closes the door. So he was like, "Oh no, it's little. It's no worries at all." And then the shark comes in, and he's like, "Oh, it's a big one." It just takes off and runs.
The chemistry between Matt Smith and young Kazran is where the best comedy in the episode came from. There's a lot of little moments like, "Oh, did you know that there's a spider who's been specifically evolved to run up the back of cupboards? It's a baby head with spider legs." Oh, I shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah.
Their chemistry is gold.
And this is also part of the right before the shark part, but he's wearing it like an ascot or whatever in the beginning of the episode, and he's like, "What kind of tie is that? A cool one, right? What makes it cool?
Cool.
What makes it cool?" And he says something else, and then it goes over to the guy, and he's has a bow tie on.
I noticed that too. Yeah, I noticed that.
I didn't notice that the first time I watched this episode.
I went back and checked. I went back and checked this. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, older Kazran.
The bow tie, did it change? Yes,
I
it did.
I rewinded too. I rewinded too.
Yeah, there's so many good details like that. That's like the peak of filmmaking. is when you have to watch things multiple times to really get everything. That's when you know you got something that's also intellectually fulfilling just as much as emotionally fulfilling. There's no modern day stuff that I can think of that you're just
Demon
like,
Slayer.
oh my god, this little
Demon
detail,
Slayer.
American.
Let's
This
jump into
little
that. Yeah, but you're right. But let's get into that. So the heart of this is now the time traveling aspect, where the Doctor goes into alter Kazran's past to try and teach him humanity through celebrating Christmas with what's her name? Shit, I just forgot her name. Angelica?
Abigail.
Abigail.
Big Tits McGee.
She had moderate boobage. She was hot.
Listen,
she was hot though. Hot chick though.
She was hot, and they were out.
And that voice.
Is that really her singing?
The opera? I think so.
I don't know. I didn't think to research that because, like I said, I watched this and I took a nap. So I didn't
see. The show took too much energy out of them, guys.
It's that draining. Just you feel so.
I'm gonna get kicked.
Fulfilled.
I'm gonna get kicked. I'm looking at myself.
No. The meter is still rising. You're safe for the moment. But but that's the heart of it. Is we go through it and they celebrate it and it's teaching how it end. During the montage, once they come back every Christmas, there's a lot of little things that are cool. And I noticed this for the first time. Maybe, like I said, I've seen maybe 3 times. But I noticed that at one point, teenage Kazan, before he's sort of teenage adult Kazan, Jen, I'm sure you noticed this. At one point, he's wearing the 4th Doctor's scarf.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. It's when he's covered in acne.
Yeah.
I noticed the acne on my second go around. I didn't notice the scarf. But I noticed the fez.
Yeah, the fez, those are right there, but that's the real thing. Well, noticing that at one point he's wearing the 4th Doctor, so he's wearing Baker's scarf, and then you see it in a picture later on when he's looking through the photographs, like, oh, yes.
You can also notice throughout the years as Kazran grows, when he has the acne, he's like looking down all shy and everything because he knows he has acne, and I think that's when he's starting to realize that he has feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting more and more excited than when he's more adult Kazran. That all blossoms, and then we get heartache.
It's really sick.
So I mean, but let's talk about the time traveling aspect of this, because that's the thing. And so what do you guys think about how it was done, how it was portrayed and laid out? Did you want to see more of it, or is what we got sufficient?
Oh, I could have watched a 5-hour movie of this episode.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Like I need the Ghost of Christmas Future and the Ghost of Christmas Present and all that shit too. Come on, I need the Doctor of Future.
We got both of those in a unique way.
Unique way.
Yeah, Amy was the Ghost of Christmas Present, but yeah, that's the thing that really surprised me is the Ghost of Christmas Future. The way that they put a twist on that, because that's something that actually people have criticized Dickens for. Is it doesn't make sense for Scrooge to be so upset by his grave, considering his personality, but this one really delved into that with Kazran going, "What, you're going to show me I die alone and afraid like we all do? All right, show me. It's not going to change anything." But he was the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah.
It's like, that is a twist that I can get behind on a classic. That is a way to do it.
Like I said,
then I missed that both, and thank you. Now I have to rewatch it again.
Yeah, because Amy's the Ghost of Christmas Present. She actually says, "I'm the Ghost of Christmas Present," but the twist, you're absolutely right.
Oh, I thought she said I'm a Christmas present, and I would have been like, I can agree.
That is a something in just a bow that I would love to wake up and see every Christmas day.
I'll take her as Nebula, for crying out loud.
Karen Gillan. You see, that's interesting. That is like one of the few times I'm not into bald chicks, but I'll take Karen Gillan in her Nebula makeup too. I'll take that. That's fine.
Well, the beautiful thing about her and the other cast members is their chemistry was gold, and it's still lasting. They're still great friends, even though she's uber famous. Like, her and Arthur Duvall just went on a vacation to the Galapagos like a month ago. Like, this Doctor Who family is still
It was
close.
it was Matt Smith's birthday, I thought.
Because
there's a lady at my work who has a TARDIS on her thing, and her favorite is Matt Smith, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw they went on this for his birthday." Yeah, that's the only reason why I know it. But she's also a huge fan of the female Doctor. So, Well, if you
no
met her,
accounting for taste.
If you met her, it would make sense to you.
Okay.
Why.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will not
But
approach.
She's still a cool person, but
everybody has their faults. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're all allowed to have objectively wrong opinions and like bad stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we all do too. But this, but like Jed said, the twist on making older Kazran the ghost of Christmas Future was, I'd forgotten that too. I'd forgotten that that's what happened right there.
I forgot about
that.
The ghosts of present and future when I rewatched it.
I mean, that's kind of again, that's one of those actually two scenes involve kind of my two minor faults, because got to try and be objective, got to find something, because I don't want to give this, I can't give this 10 out of 10. I got to find small things. But it's nerd nitpicking. One is there wasn't enough Amy in this. There's not enough Amy. It's not enough.
Criticism I can get behind.
It's not enough.
She
Amy
was in her kissogram costume in the beginning, and Rory was in his
that's
Centurion.
The costume she was in.
Yeah,
Centurion.
that's it. That's where
Yeah,
it came from. I've been trying to remember why she.
I've actually done that couple's outfit before for Halloween.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at God. Why haven't I not thought of that?
It's gold, and nobody gets it. No one, like, there was like 3 people I met with
Nerds
at the party.
Only nerds are gonna get that. Only nerds can get it. But but it's not enough Karen Gillan. And then one of my small nitpicks during the Ghost of Christmas Future thing is that old Kazdan, young Kazdan, they're touching each other. I know that there are timey-wimey rules that Moffat put down. Paradox.
So you're specifically referring to Father's Day, setting that as a precedent as causing a paradox?
Is it because they're in the proximity of the TARDIS? Is that why?
No. So the only reason that Rose grabbing baby Rose was such a big deal in Father's Day in season 1 was specifically because time was already torn. There's other instances of people touching their younger versions, like in the season 5 finale when Amy comes out of the Pandorica after getting killed. She touches young Amy on the head. So it's only like it is kind of bad, but the universe can handle it. But in Father's Day, the universe was cracked already, so that was just enough to push it over the edge.
And I also, in my own personal belief in time travel rules, same matter. I like the time cop version. Same matter cannot occupy the same.
That's the funny thing about at least skin contact is someone was saying this for a time travel theory, like what you're talking about, is human beings, they replace their outer layer of cells every 7 years. And so if you're outside that 7-year range, you're not touching the same matter.
I guess.
It's a bit reaching, but
I'm gonna I think the biggest out I give myself for that is that they're in the proximity of the TARDIS. And the TARDIS,
the TARDIS has been established to be able to maintain paradoxes.
Yeah, so the TARDIS is literally right there. The door's open, and so but it still makes my time travel nerd in me go. It's a small thing, but there are excuses in place to let it happen. I understand that, but I still question it. But all right, let's see. But so we got this whole. Let's go into the bittersweet aspect of this, because I think that's a good place to go here. The bittersweet part, the whole fact that she's dying.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So she can only go out 8 times. Is it
8 days worth?
8 days
worth.
So is it like a disease, and that's why it only? I didn't understand that part of the episode.
From what I understand, and Jed, you can fill in the holes, I'm sure, ladies. But when we get the explanation, when she was the whole structure of the lease lend that Kazran's family does, his forefather, is that to lend money, he takes basically a family member as collateral, as security that people are going to pay back. And what's her name? I forgot her name again. Abigail volunteered because she was ill. And she had approximately 8 days left of life left in her. She was a lot sicker when she went in. And from what we understand, the freezing process and the resting revitalized her on the outside, but it didn't do anything with what was going on the inside.
Right.
And they are never specific about her disease. They just make it clear. We kind of figure it out, and then we understand it. With again, a lot of show don't tell, a lot of let the audience figure it out through moments without actually coming out and saying it until way later at the end. But you already figured it out. But again, because the audience is smart enough, especially a Doctor Who audience is smart enough to figure this shit out. So she was dying, and it's 8 days worth. So that's why all the Christmas Eves they spent, it was probably a few hours at a time, which is why they literally went through dozens of them from him being 12 into probably his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. That's actually important detail because a lot of people actually miss that detail, is that it's not just 8 times out of, it's 8 days worth. So 8 24-hour periods, because everyone thinks, oh, if it's 8 days, that's 8 years. So 7 years, 7, and he would have been 17 when they kissed for the first time. And that's a problem. And so a lot of people were accusing this of, that thing, the Bidenism.
Yeah.
But because it's hours, like you only use a couple hours every year, it was able to stretch it to where he's actually closer to 22 when they kissed for the first time.
No, I never picked up on that part. I actually thought it was 8 different years and how that all worked.
Because he would have been 17 when they kissed if it was that. Because he said he was 12 at the beginning.
Yeah, and clearly there's a lot of stages especially if you look at the collection of pictures, they went to many, many locales on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Paris, Seattle, they
New
were
York.
all over the...
Yeah.
The way I'm able to rationalize that, though, is just how the TARDIS works.
Well, it's just they would go there, probably spend a few hours of like 3 or 4 hours of Christmas Eve there, and then she's back in, and it took like literally probably 15 odd years to wear away 7 of those 8 days, leaving her final day, the remainder of her final day for this final part of the episode when she comes out, and it's hard. It is heartbreaking because on the first hand, I love during the montage where Kazran is changing, and it's no longer the picture of his father, but the picture of Abigail in Christmas. It's like, oh, it's working. The doctor's doing it. But then when we're able to infer that she tells Kazran the bad news during the party where his heart is broken, and it closes off again because then it changes back to his father.
Yeah.
And he continues down the original path. And
a slightly different version, though, because originally he didn't care. This time he did care.
That's the difference. But it's still, his heart did close off because then when, like Jed pointed out earlier, like he turns around and says, pulls off the bow tie, says, I'm bored with you now. We're done. Don't come back. And when the doctor does come back, when he almost calls him using the broken screwdriver, he's at the window. But then he closes the curtains, and it's heartbreaking because he was almost there.
He was so close.
So close, but then it's not a Christmas Carol without present and future. That was just the past.
Well, can we take this moment to appreciate Michael Gambon? He is phenomenal.
Yes.
Like in Harry Potter, he's a good Dumbledore, great Dumbledore, but it's not a whole lot of range. In this one, he shows exceptional range and talent where you just really feel for the guy. Even in his most dickish moments, you're like, dude, that sucks, man. Like, I get why you're an asshat, because who would want to endure that, knowing that you had within your power to see the woman you loved one more time, but it would be the last time? How could you choose? The weight of that. You saw the weight of that, and that's just immensely impressive.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's heartbreaking, and it's even more heartbreaking because if you're watching all of this in order, and you're thinking, how is the doctor not going to save her from this fate? But then you're watching it in proper order. If you're watching until you realize like I said earlier, he's learned this lesson. Doctor saves people, but he can't save everyone. And that's why it's so poignant where, yes, after the Ghost of Christmas Future moment, and he's able to bring Kazran to full humanity at that point, but he's so been changed that the controls won't recognize him because it's not the same spiritually person anymore, mental wavelengths, whatever you want to say, soul even. And the only thing they know is Abigail's angelic voice. Shut up. Abigail's angelic voice is the only thing that can stop, that can crystallize and harmonize with the cloud. And bringing her out, that's it. She's not going to be able to go back in. And Kazran realizes it. But in that moment, we realize the doctor isn't going to save her because he's learned that lesson.
Yeah.
And that's what's called continuity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's called the character building. Yeah, I know. Character building, character arc. He's done this, and he doesn't try to. That's what's even more powerful. You have to. The layers are there. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so great, and it's bittersweet. And the last shot is, of course, Kazran and Abigail with the shark-drawn sleigh, having one last ride through the night, and you know that it's going to end sadly, but it's bittersweet. And even if he could have saved her, you realize because they broke her out of the ice for that one last moment. That is the last moment. You can't go back and heal her in the past because then it doesn't happen then. So that is the moment. It's not like you could fix her and go back and have her have a life with young Kazran. No, it doesn't work like that because then they need her in that moment. You have to, but again, I think Moffat, because this is Moffat at his best, is understanding that the audience is going to understand this.
Yeah.
Understand this.
Because we're not idiots.
No.
Mm-hmm. He's phenomenal at balancing that of giving the audience enough and then letting them do the rest. He's a master of it, and this is really a great example of that because and the acceptance that Abigail has, like she isn't screaming against the world,
No.
she isn't fighting it, she's accepted her fate, and so she's just so grateful for the few days that she was allowed to have because she figured she'd just be locked in there forever and just eventually die in there, but she got 8 great Christmases.
She saw wonders.
What a better way to go.
She saw wonders, and she got to fall in love. As brief as it was for her, as long as it was for Kazran, it's just it hits you in the feels. And like you said, Gambon, his performance in the end there, you see it. It's like, oh, you're so old now, and he's like, oh, I still love you.
Hoarding my days like an old miser.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the dialogue in this because.
Oh, so perfect.
It's again, Moffat at his best.
Mm-hmm.
Every line is delivered. The doctor, Matt Smith's every line is a doctor line. And like I said, at this point, it's Matt Smith's doctor. He is the doctor at this point. He's had a full season. Nobody's questioning at this. We're fully in. We're fully buying into it. And he just hits every note, whether it's ancient to spastic, whether it's childlike to old man. And then everybody else is just so good.
There's not a bad moment or a bad line that I can think of.
No, and you're having fun. You're caught up in it, and you're thinking, "I'm on an adventure with the doctor." That's all you're thinking when you watch this, and the music is perfectly timed. Murray Gold stuff hitting every single note where it needs to be. And then it ends, and you're not only bittersweet sad because you realize, but they're happy in their final moments, and but then you realize, I don't get to see this anymore.
I know.
It's bittersweet in 2 ways now.
Yes.
Bittersweet as in the episode is actually bittersweet. It's bittersweet in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sad. I was sad this afternoon. I'm like, man, I had such a good time watching this. I'm happy. I want to watch more Matt Smith Doctor, but I'm not black-pilled. I just won't bring myself to do it because I know where it's going.
Yeah.
And even though we got what's coming out, I mean, Jed saw this earlier today, and when I said it to him, he said, yeah, I saw this. We've even seen Ncuti Gatwa's new costume, and it just, when put together, doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Well, in talking about the dialogue real fast, there's one scene that I think is almost as emotionally compelling and sad as Abigail's final moments and the choice to release her from the ice. And it comes with a really great line that a whole lot of people don't talk about. It's during the Ghost of Christmas Present section when Kazran is taken up onto the ship to see them singing, and they're just singing Silent Night. And Rory's like, yeah, this was the doctor's idea. We were hoping that their singing would help, but it's not working. And Kazran's just like, then why are they still singing? And the captain goes, because we haven't had the heart to tell them yet. And so these people are literally singing for their lives. Can you imagine? Like, I've never seen that in sci-fi or fantasy before. The concept of you need to sing, and if you don't sing right, we're all gonna die. How do you do that? Singing is a hard enough thing to get right when you're in your element. You know what you're doing. There's no stress, and I wouldn't have been able to sing right in a moment of stress like that. But they're still managing it. Those people singing for their lives.
And the doctor's not even in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even there. It's everybody else carrying the scene. It's Karen Gillan carrying the scene. The extras on there, they're carrying the scene. That's how powerful it is.
The captain's a very small role, but I understood her. She was a well-written female woman in power.
Wow. Wait, we can do that?
We can do that. Even in short supporting characters like this. Well-written endures.
The episode that hit hard, the parts that hit hardest for me though were when Kazran was about to hit the young boy at the beginning and how it came full circle, about to hit himself.
Yeah.
And the doctor just said, "Are you going to be like your father?" And just all that flashes and stuff when he breaks down crying, accepting that he's just become his father.
But the moment.
But that was also the moment, that opening point where the doctor saw there's that nugget of redemption in him because he didn't hit the boy.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hit the boy. And that's again, the doctor knew, I can save this guy. I can save this guy. There's hope because the doctor brings hope. A line I forget from Jed, you know the episode, that the sound. What is that sound? The whirring. That's the sound of hope.
It's the 50th anniversary.
Okay, it was 50th anniversary.
Bad Wolf talking to John Hurt's War Doctor. It's like, you know the sound the TARDIS makes? That wheezing sound. It brings hope to any who hear it. Yes, I would like to think that it does. And then you hear both TARDISes coming, and he starts to get hope himself. Like, it can even bring it to the Doctor.
Yeah, that's the sound of hope. And then you hear it. When you hear that, you know, because the doctor brings hope. Because the doctor, the real doctor, doctors 1 through 12 save people.
1 through 13.
Adding in the War Doctor.
Oh, well, sorry.
Okay,
sorry.
If I'm adding in the War Doctor, it would be 1 through 14 because you're adding in.
I did.
No.
Wait.
No, Matt
Smith
is
Capaldi was 12.
Matt Smith is 11. Capaldi's 12.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought
Capaldi's
it was
12.
13.
So
it's 13 with the War Doctor.
War Doctor, and but I don't.
Jodie Whittaker's 13.
Yeah, and
we don't count her.
And Tennant is now again 14. That
the 14,
and Shudi's
15.
And
then there's the Fugitive Doctor.
I've had the numbers figured out.
Stop it! We're breaking away from actual Doctor lore. We are now ranging into bad fan fiction territory, and we don't support bad fan fiction. Had the numbers all
figured out, and then broke.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Doctors 1 through 12, they save people.
Well,
I mean, go ahead.
Couldn't you say, because Matt Smith's the 13th regeneration, right? Because of
War Doctor, technically.
Well,
right?
with the War Doctor
and Tennant twice, right?
Yeah, in the season 4 finale, he regenerated. He put his regeneration energy into the Human Doctor. They use that as justification why Matt Smith was the 13th face and the last regeneration for the end of his era. So they count David Tennant. So this is actually David Tennant's third Doctor, according to canon.
Yeah, that's just what I was trying to get into because I couldn't remember the exact number of Matt Smith because they added a Doctor and then they gave David Tennant twice. Yeah.
And that was the whole conflict around Time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's final episode, because otherwise that wouldn't have happened for a couple more years.
You see why I have such a hard time trying to figure out these numbers? I had them figured out and then I forgot them.
That's why I just go 1 through 12 War Doctor. That's why I just do it like that because it keeps it.
The War Doctor is so hard because you wish it was Eccleston, but then you love what you got at the same time. So it's like, yes, it's
the
great.
guy we got.
But it was supposed to be Eccleston, but Eccleston was a dick.
Eccleston's still a dick.
Yes,
that's the guy we got, especially because he's such a good actor.
I think I was going to go with Jed and my other friend to go meet him, but I didn't like him as the Doctor, and I know you guys are going to be like, "What?" But I don't like him as the Doctor.
I did love Eccleston as Doctor. That's what got me back into Doctor Who, because when I was a kid, I had only seen smatterings of Classic Who. When Sci-Fi Channel first started, I know, I'm old, shut up. When Sci-Fi Channel first started, they would actually put real Doctor Who on there, and I watched some of it. I saw a smattering of Baker, a smattering of Baker Jr., and a couple others on there, but I never...
Junior?
His son.
Tom Baker?
Tom Baker. Didn't Tom Baker's son... There was another Baker who was the doctor, wasn't it?
It is Colin Baker.
Colin
it's
Baker.
Not his son, though. It's not his son, though.
Oh, it's his grandson?
No, no relation.
Oh, I thought they were related.
Mm-mm.
God, you're such a
nerd
bigot.
fail. Nerd fail. Sorry. I thought they were related. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
Isn't Tennant's wife the daughter of one of them?
Yeah. He's she's Peter Davidson's daughter. So the doctor's daughter married the doctor and made a new doctor's daughter.
And that's the one after Baker?
Yes. Yep. The one after Baker, his daughter ended up marrying David Tennant.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost nerd points. Okay, fine.
It's okay to not like. It's okay not to know that one very well because his era was rough. Colin Baker's was really rough. The first thing he did after.
I think the first episode I ever saw was a Colin Baker episode. It creeped
Really?
me the fuck out. Let me see if I can. You might have the title. All I remember is that he's on trial for something.
Ooh, that's a great season. It's a whole season of his trial.
That he was on trial, and the episode I saw was I'm just digging into memory because I remember it was
Introduces the Valeyard. That's another actually version of the Doctor, the villain of that season.
Well, I think we could have hoped that Dr. Karen was the Valeyard. I think we all kind of
kind of hoping. Yeah, Trial of the Time Lord.
That's
a great one.
There was one point during the thing. It's where he lost a companion because at one point, by the end of the episode, she gets taken over by something or rewritten, and he's about to save her, but then something pulls him back into the TARDIS or something. I'm just kind of remember. I was barely paying attention. I was like maybe 12 or 13, and it was like the first time saying, I'm like, wow, this is creepy. And then I saw some Baker. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's a great season. But Colin Baker's first episode, the first thing he does after becoming the Doctor, the very first thing he does is try to choke his companion to death. He's like,
I remember hearing. Yeah,
I'm awake. Oh, I'm gonna kill her. It's like, what the fuck just happened?
So now I saw that, and Sci-Fi Channel had stuff. So I saw some Fourth Doctor, and I saw some. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. And then I didn't really get exposed to it for a lot of years because it wasn't on TV. And back then, this is olden times where we didn't have internets or good DVDs, so things and localization, so things were hard to get your hands on. And if you didn't really know where to get it, you couldn't get it in Doctor Who. But then in 2005, when Eccleston was when RTD rebirthed the whole thing, rejuvenated it, buddy of mine said, "Dude, you got to check this out. It's Doctor Who. It's awesome." Again, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know Doctor Who. I'm not really interested, dude. You got to check it out. It's freaking awesome." And he just kept nagging me, and then it was going to air on Sci-Fi Channel. Then they got the rights, and they were going to air it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it because he had been pirating it from the BBC. I wasn't sailing the high seas at that point yet, so I sat down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. And I was blown away. I was like, damn, this is good, and I love it. This is great, and I got into it, and I went away. I took a break towards the end of Tenet when he in between Martha and then I was and I started up with Donna, and then I took a break towards the end of Donna, and then the 50th was ramping up, and then I didn't care about Matt Smith at all. I was totally involved with other things, and then the 50th was ramping up. I'm like, okay, 50th, I got to catch up. They were BBC America was showing back-to-back Tenet. They were airing it all the time, so I caught up on all the Tenet I missed. And then I said, okay, I need Matt Smith. They're moving too slow. Ahoy. And like I said, I burned through all of Matt Smith. And I was like, damn, this
season
is
5's my favorite. Matt Smith's first season, my favorite season.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Years.
It was great. And I was like, damn, I'm ready. And now I caught up. I'm ready for the 50th, and I had a great time, and I was ready. I was ready for everything, and then we got to this point now in time, and Dr. Karen broke my heart.
Well, even me as a massive Doctor Who fan, the pilot of Chris Eccleston's first episode didn't latch me on. That it didn't connect with me. The first episode I actually seen before that was the Heaven Sent with Peter Capaldi. That's a great one. But the one that invested me at the beginning of New Who was the second episode, The End of the World. Just seeing Rose there looking at the sun expanding to burn the earth. That moment, it just always sat with me. Just like the look on her face, seeing the earth about to die. And she's just like, what is the point in all this? I'm just like, holy fuck, what is this moment? What am I watching? I need more. I always remember that was the moment I was a Doctor Who fan. Rose
It's that
looking at-
episode 2 that was also but the first episode got me because I was pulled in by the energy. But then there's a moment in that episode when the doctor has to move between the fans that are spinning, and he just closes his eyes, and you hear the theme,
Bad Wolf theme,
and he just and I didn't know the doctor's history at that point. I was not versed in everything. I didn't know the lore, but I was mesmerized by that moment. That's when I realized I'm in. I'm pulled in. I'm interested.
Now, my episode was the Dalek. That's the episode
that's a great
when he loses his shit
because
going at the Dalek.
Why don't you just die?
Before I got to that, it was just constantly adventure. Good storytelling, good moments, adventure. Then you get to that point, and it's like, wow, there's pain, there's suffering, there's more to this character than what I'm just seeing.
Yeah, I mean, he builds a weapon to kill right there. That's when you realize, oh shit, he just built a weapon to kill, and then the fact that Rose teaches the Dalek to feel.
This is not
good.
Life.
It was good. Once upon a time, it was good, and now we have Dr. Karen leading into what we're gonna have now. See, this is why I'm sad. Because we go down this memory lane of all these great seasons, all these great arcs, all these fantastic, epic moments from Eccleston to Tennant to Smith and Capaldi. And Capaldi had some shit to work with, but Capaldi still made it worth it with his delivery.
Even Capaldi's final episode, I love Twice Upon a Time. Twice Upon a Time is great. Even with its making fun of the First Doctor a little bit, the whole A Christmas Story, the Christmas Day Miracle is beautiful. It's beautiful. So I think we're getting close to the time where you guys might be ready for a rewatch of New Who, and ending with Twice Upon a Time with him just retiring, becoming the curator. It's a solid enough ending. It works for me. Might work for you guys, but
I need to see.
I love
again.
I love the Husbands of River Song as a Christmas episode. I love that one just because
that one's great.
It's just he's right there, and she doesn't know it, and then you know what's coming after the end of that because
Tennant episode,
and you know what's coming, and you know she got. But then they have their moment, but they actually lived a lifetime together on that planet.
Years, yeah,
and you realize they had a life together, and that I love that. I love that so much because I was like, because he was happy with her there, and they had a time. That was that, and you realize the whole time, whenever she's teasing Matt Smith. Because that wasn't her doctor. Capaldi was her doctor. And you realize there that was her doctor. It's like,
well, they're closer in age too, so it made more sense. But my favorite moment from that episode is when she's like yelling at the bad guy. The bad guy's like, the doctor will come. And he's like, she's like, the doctor is always there when I need him to be there. He's just always right there, right beside me.
And he's right behind her.
Yeah, and he just like turns towards her. And she like realizes like, holy fuck, is this the doctor? And he just goes, hello, sweetie. And he just like whispers it. I'm just like, yeah, he's it. She knows.
Yes, it's like I know. That's why I love that one too. I love it. It's just this is why I'm sad.
That's the only Capaldi episode I've seen.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's the only one I've seen. But I love River Song, so I had to go watch it.
I need her back in my life. I love her. She's a charm.
She's in everything. She's in NCIS, Gilmore Girls. She's in a ton.
Oh, she was just in that show. She it was a vampire show from last year. She was in that, but they had her. What?
Lesbian teen vampires?
No. This was another one. A Discovery of Witches. She was in that one. But she was speaking with an American accent the whole goddamn time. I was like, no, what are you doing? You got Brits all over the place. You can't have her be British. Just why are you doing this? It sounds so wrong. I mean, I first saw her when she was on ER back then. That was the first time I saw her when she was in ER way back in the day. Well, obviously, we have tangented our way. Sign, we're done. We tangented massively away from the actual episode. So it's that point of the show where we give our scores. Because it's Jed's thing, he goes last. Because when it's your score, you go last. Or did I go first on last week? Actually, I went first last week, didn't I? So Jed, you get to go first. I'm sorry, you get to go first.
All right, perfect. Well,
I think I went first last week.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Well, Jed, you go first. It's your pick. You get to go first.
Okay, perfect. Well, as you guys know, I'm a lot more strict with my numbers than the majority of people. I normally like if I like something, 8 out of 10 is usually the best I'm going to give it. But with Doctor Who, it might be biased on my part, but I have to give this a 9 out of 10. That's a lot for me, but yeah, I just love this episode so much, and I don't think I've ever given anything a 10 out of 10. But this 11th hour and a couple others, they're 9.5 range, and I just love this one. There's so much heart. It's pure magic. Like there's Doctor Who episodes that I love, but I don't feel like this is pure magic. Christmas Carol is one that's like this is.
I'm right there with you. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. So because this discussion we just had, it revitalized all the great memories. And but for my couple tiny little nitpicks where I took a little bit, some percentage off, but 9.5 out of 10, just because it has everything that's joyous about Doctor Who in it. Matt Smith is at his, he is fully the Doctor at this point. There's no doubt. Any doubters, you are communists. At this point, if you're doubting him,
how do you doubt him after Hello Stonehenge?
Yeah, how do you?
Hello Stonehenge,
or even just his first episode where he's like basically run. How do you doubt him after that in his first one?
I know. So, but there were doubters. I mean, people used to call him Dr. Hugs. That was a derogatory thing back in the day when he was airing Dr. Hugs.
Well, I heard way too young.
Yeah, I heard Dr. Hugs, and I was influenced by that, so I didn't go back in. And then I thought, I just watched the whole thing. It's not Dr. Hugs. This guy's awesome. This guy's powerful. He's magnetic. He's energetic. So it's charismatic. I mean, that's what this gets the 9.5 because this is Matt Smith full throttle. Doesn't make a single mistake. He is the Doctor through and through for all the reasons we've stated. So that's why I give it the 9.5 because I want the Doctor, and I saw the Doctor, and it made me happy. Dermy, what's your score?
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna go 9. I want to say 8.5, but my biggest critique is the actual changing of time, and like watching that, and I cannot remember if that was a thing that could do like actively change time as we watched it and everything. If that was actually something that you could do without breaking timelines and stuff. It's been so long since I've looked back.
Yeah.
So because of that, I 8.5 to 9, somewhere in there. It depends if that's an actual thing.
Why don't we say 8.7?
Yeah, 8.7.
8.7.
Yeah,
8.7. 8.7. That's fair. That's fair. Biggles, what's your score?
So I don't really do like 1 through 10. I kind of do it like a school thing. So like if I was to say like a 9, it would be like an excellent, and like 10 would be like an A plus or whatever.
You can give it a letter grade if you want. You can give it a letter grade.
Okay, then I give it a B plus. So like an 8, like a very close to a 9. It's almost excellent. It's just missing a little bit. And I think maybe if it was like 10 minutes longer, then I would have got that excellent, you know?
We're flexible on the scoring. We're flexible.
Yeah.
I do feel like
movie on this.
If there was just a little bit more, it might have worked. Like more time with the present, a little more time with maybe the past, just
a little more Amy.
A little more Amy.
Maybe a little more Amy, a little less clothing. You know?
A little more Amy, a little less.
He was
Rory.
in her kissogram though. You can't get her.
Hey, no hating on Rory. I love my man Rory.
Rory's charming. He grows on you.
He does. I don't know. I was always kind of mid on Rory. I don't know. I mean, he has a really cool moment in season 2 or in season 6 where when Amy's telling the story of the man always saves, but it turns out to be Rory, not the Doctor.
That's a great moment.
And when they're on the Cyberman ship and he's the one that just stabs that Cyberman from behind. I mean, that's Rory. That's peak Rory for me.
Yeah.
That's peak Rory.
I get why people would be a little bit iffy about him in the first couple episodes, but by the end of the season, when he waits 1,000 or 2,000 years for her, that's the moment where I'm like, this dude is awesome. Or like the Sileran episode where he dies and like his connection to the humans.
He goes from being a wimp to being a man. He has a character arc. He goes from being this pathetic dude that you're like, why the hell is she with him? to there's no better choice but him.
But then he takes her last name.
No.
Well, that's
not
no.
I know.
Not legally. Not
that's
legally.
just the doctor.
I know, but he lets the doctor call him Pond.
Yeah,
so.
illegally, she's Amy Williams.
I know, but
that goes on her gravestone.
Really? I don't remember. I didn't remember that. Okay.
So the dinosaur episode has Rory's dad, and I was talking how I don't like that episode at all to Chet earlier, either I think on my stream, and Rory's dad, he's like, Mr. Pond then. And he's like, I'm not a pond. And he's like, yes, you are. Even Rory's dad, he called the pond.
No, I know.
Anybody who knows Amy is a pond.
Anyway, so go watch this. It, like Jid said, it might reignite you to give Real Who a rewatch. I got enough stuff to rewatch, so I don't need to go back to it. I'll reveal something I'm going to get ready to rewatch very soon tomorrow on Roundtable. You got it's good. I fulfilled a promise. Anyway,
G Gundam?
No. God, only you want to watch G. Only you want to watch G Gundam. No. Anyway, I'll show it off tomorrow because I want Dre there for it. Dre has to be there when I show it off because it came with a surprise. Oh, I was so happy when I found out. But anyway, so go watch Doctor Who Christmas Carol. It's gonna hit all the right numbers. It's gonna remind you of when the Doctor Who was Doctor Who, how great Matt Smith is, why Matt Smith is kind of shouldering the weight of one of the things to shoulder the weight of House of the Dragon right now because Matt Smith is awesome. He's great actor, can embody whatever role he's put in, and he's fun, and he's got range. He's got range, which is few and far between these days. All right, so I want to thank the panel for being here. Chat, we love you too. We didn't talk with you much today because you guys were just watching us talk, so. That's all it was. But chat, we love you. We thank you for being here. If you're watching this live now or on the replay, hit that like button because this will be re-uploaded later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'll unlist it and then go re-upload because the algorithm likes it better when it's a video than a stream. It's just the way it is. YouTube, you're weird. But thank you, chat. We love you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching the replay, we hope you enjoyed it as well. And as I said, this is it for the year. We'll be back on January 7th, 2023. With our next movie. I don't know what it is yet. Lady B has a couple of weeks to let me know. So we will be back then. We hope you have a Merry Christmas in a couple of days. Also have a Happy Hanukkah. Have a Happy New Year. And we will see you guys in 2023. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your holidays. Have a good one, guys. And on behalf of everybody here, again, I believe I speak for all of us. Merry Christmas. Good night.
Chevron 1, encoded.
For my ally is the Force, and the powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow.
You failed your purpose. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Cry havoc, and let's set the dogs of war.
Chevron 2 encoded.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of your women.
It's on reflexes.
I'll also say that you're heavy into martial arts, Tai Chi and all that killer stuff. I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Chevron 3 encoded.
And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. The hell I will.
Chevron 4 encoded.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Chevron 5 encoded.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Chevron 6 encoded.
That's the line you can't, love boy.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
You shall not pass! I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach out to me at therennerd@gmail.com. That email's for channel business only, so I check it on a daily basis. Also, you can find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can find me at Rumble and Odyssey, The Renaissance Nerd. Thank you again. See you next time.